All right, I think we are live. Welcome everyone to the Recycled Mom. I'm Darlene Taylor, and today is the 1st of April, the first Monday of April, and that means it's another video for the Rest in Grace series. And today's topic is rising above it all. So, I think that's a great topic for April 1st. No fooling here. We're going to be talking about how to rise above the your circumstances in life when things don't seem to be going well, and you've got a lot of things that come at you and overwhelm you, and just want to, you just want to kind of give up and throw in the towel and say, I'm done. I'm hoping that today's video will help encourage you, give you the some tools. Maybe there are some things I think from what I was shown yesterday that you already have the power and the tools within to rise above your circumstances. So, with that said, excuse me, I want to thank you all for joining in today. If you're watching the replay, thank you. Thank you for watching the replay. Let me know who you are and where you're from if I don't already know you. But I do thank you for your support. I just reached 300 subscribers. In fact, I think it was 303 that I looked at recently, and I want to thank you all for that. I could not have gotten here without your love and support, and I do really appreciate you. And I'm working on a subscriber giveaway, so just file that away. I am going to just get a couple things set here. Give me just a second. I want to make sure that I am. Sorry. Oh, we have the main Daniels with us, and we have Rachel. Good morning, ladies. All right, let me go over here to my live dashboard, and in this YouTube thing, this YouTube for creators is just really crazy. Crazy new. I'm trying to get to learn all of it. So thanks, Stephanie. I'm really excited about the subscriber count. Woo! I'm super excited about that. And we're going to keep chugging right along. And our next goal is going to be, 400. Let's go. Road to 400. Share the videos, share, my channel, and let's get some other people in here. All right. So, here we go. Rising above it all. I know a lot of people that are in my circle have been going through a lot of things lately, and myself included. And it can be very overwhelming, very discouraging, disappointing, and it's just all just negative. And we can look at each other and we can think that everybody has it all together. I know that is assumed about me a lot, that, wow, look at her. She's got everything put together. She does all of these things. And in fact, someone last week called me a superwoman, and because she found out, this is for American Heritage Girls, but she found out that I was American Heritage Girls troop leader, and I was also one of the unit leaders for the girls that are like 7th grade and up, because it's needed. We don't have somebody to fill that spot on a regular basis. And she's like, superwoman. And I was like, oh no, because I fly by the seat of my pants a lot sometimes. In fact, not maybe all the time. Stephanie says, I think this is the video I've needed. You know what, Stephanie? I'm glad you said that. That's actually giving me a little bit more confirmation on what I was given to yesterday. Now, y'all know I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. He is my Savior, and I talk about that on my channel. I don't want to be preachy, but I do want to share that I had one direction for this video. I was going to go in a different direction. I had my notes here, and I had verses. I'm still going to give them to you today, but I was going in this direction of like, okay, we're going to be rising above, and I want to encourage myself and encourage other women to, to find these verses in the Bible, and to just, and I was going in this direction of, I got to try harder, and we got to just be determined to rise above all of these circumstances and this stuff in our life, because I'm going through it as well. and I was just like, so I was coming at it with an attitude of like working harder or trying harder or trying to be more positive. And it was coming at me with this, meh. You guys get what I'm saying? It's not coming out. But yeah, I was coming at it with just this working harder, trying to, and sorry, I have to get my coffee. Hey, I see that Rachel is in the audience. Rachel, y'all, Rachel gave me this mug a long time ago when she was my secret sister at church, and she gave me this mug, and it says, "You are a courageous woman." I'll hold it right up there. I hope it's in the video. Hope you can see it. It says, "You are a courageous woman," and on the top it says, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And I drink out of this mug a lot, Rachel. This mug is very precious. But anyway, thank you very much, Rachel, because I'm always reminded that I am a courageous woman, and you are too, ladies. And so yesterday, I'm in church, and I was already, I had video recorded. I was gonna, I was editing, and but I just wasn't feeling like, oh, Darlene, this just isn't quite right, or it's just, I was just not really, couldn't put my finger on it. I just wasn't feeling right about the video. But I was going to put it out there because sometimes you never know. Sometimes I think a video is not very good or something, and yet other people receive something out of it. And I praise the Lord for that. Well, yesterday, I'm sorry, I was sitting in church, and the message was about the power within that you already have to rise up above your circumstances. And it just like, boom, I didn't hear like, "Darlene, you need to do this." I didn't hear some, audible voice speak to me, but I felt it just so heavy on my heart. I was like, I'm going to scrap the other video, and I'm going to go with this, what I'm going to talk to you about today, the power within. And I talked to Ingrid, and Ingrid's from the Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles, and Kim, the Homeschooling Grammy, and I sent them a message yesterday, and I said, I had a video recorded, I was getting ready to upload it, and I said, I need to go in a different direction because the Lord showed me something different, showed me something that I needed in it, and I know that if I need it, I know there's a lot of other women that need it too. So, so I had just this powerful message that I want to share with you. And I hope I can do this justice. I hope that you all will stick with me till the end because I'll try to not keep it long because I know this is live and everybody has their time. And I want to respect your time. So we were in Ephesians yesterday, and the passage is Ephesians 1, verses 15 through 23. And in there, the writer of the book Ephesians, Paul, some of you may have heard this, Paul, Apostle Paul at the time, it was a prayer, it was a prayer for power. And I'm thinking, oh yes, I need the power, and because I've been feeling pretty powerless, I've been waking up defeated a lot lately, and just kind of to a point where I was feeling a loss of hope. I don't want to say I was hopeless, but I just was finding it hard for me to cast, to anchor into something. Where is my hope? And I know where my hope is, but it was just, those days where you're just feeling like it's not there. And, oh, Stephanie, podcast. You know what? I do have a podcast, and I got some software, some microphones and some things, and I'm going to be getting my podcast up and going soon. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I am really working on getting this podcast going. So anyway, all right, I'm trying not to take my glasses on and off. So he was saying, so in the passage, in verse 19, you know what? Hold on a second. This is why I like to edit, because I can edit some of this stuff out. Hold on. All right, I'm going to open up to Ephesians. All right, so Ephesians chapter 1, but I want to look at verse 19 because this is where we parked yesterday, and this is where the Lord spoke to me yesterday, just impressed upon my heart. Ephesians 1:19, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to us who believe, according to the working of his mighty power. And this is where we kind of part is power. Paul uses the words exceeding great or greatness, power, working, mighty. He uses these words to describe the power. And then what is the power? The power is something that I received from God at the moment that I trusted Jesus as my Savior. The moment I accepted Christ as my Savior, I received the power of the Holy Spirit, the power. It's the same power that Paul wrote about thousands of years ago, and the same power that I have today. I have already received it. I received it when I got saved. I don't have to pray for more power. I just need to exercise the power that I already have. I need to use it. In fact, what it's like the power strip I have sitting here on my floor that all my stuff is plugged into. The power, I've been given the power strip from God, and I need to plug into the power that I already have. But it's not going to do me any good to have the power, and it's like an empty power strip, and to have the power and not plug into it. It's my job to plug in and stay plugged in. And this power is the same power. It's dynamic. The word power means dynamite, dynamic. That's the word. That's where we get our word. It's a Greek word, and we get our word dynamic. Working, it means it's full of energy. It's operation. It's mighty. He uses mighty. That's strength. That means it's strong. And it's exceeding. Exceeding is something that you just can't even fathom. It's great. And the Greek word for great is translated to mean like megaton. And so these words are describing the power that I already have. I have something that is so dynamic and so strong and so just so great that I can't even understand how much power that I really have. And this is available to me. It has been given to me, and I'm not using it. In fact, it's like I forgot about it. No, it's like I did. I forgot about the power that I have. And I'm trying to do so much in my own power. And I'm not doing anything bad. I'm looking for strength and encouragement and in the Bible, and looking at from God. But it's so much of me. I'm like, oh, I need more of this and I need more. And I'm not, I'm so sorry for my voice. I'm not believing, it's like I didn't open the box that, like when you get a shipment or a gift, let's put it that way. You get a gift for your birthday or for Christmas, and you have this gift, and someone tells you, look, I bought you this journal for you to have, right? And so it's in this box, it's all wrapped up, and that's great. You know what's in the box. Oh, I have this journal. I got this from a friend of mine, and it's just, that's really great. And you leave it wrapped up and leave it sitting on, a table. It's never going to do you any good to leave it sitting in that box and never use it. You have to use it. You have to open it up. You have to take it out, and you have to use it. You have to write in it. You have to, you have to use it. The same thing goes for for this whole lesson. The power that you have is right within you. And we need to remember that, and we need to know it, and we need to use it and believe it, that when I plug in, I've got the same power that raised Jesus from the dead. I have the same power that to conquer the difficult times in my life, to live this human life is the same power that Jesus had when he walked this earth. It's the same power that's available to me. Rachel says, you've been feeling that way for months. I've been feeling the same way for a while, fighting depression and all that. Stephanie, yes. So ladies, we do so much fighting, and so much like, oh, it's like we know what we need to do. Like we need to find the power source, and we need to tap into it. But we're not doing it. And we're walking around powerless. it's very much, if you'll allow me to use the story of the Wizard of Oz, okay? Dorothy had the shoes, she had the ruby slippers, and she had them on the whole time. And she knew she was supposed to go to the Emerald City. She just knew that she was supposed to go there because she thought that's where she would find her answers. Because everyone told her to go to the Wiz, right? Go to the wizard. And along the way, she picked up some friends who were looking for the same thing, and they were trying, and they had to go through all of these obstacles. And even when they got to the Emerald City, they were like, "Oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be." And it took Dorothy to realize that she had it the whole time she had it with her. And we wouldn't have had a story if she had realized it at the very beginning and clicked her feet and went home. There wouldn't have been much of a story. but this is how we are. We cannot miss this truth. We have the power. If you are a child of God, you know what I'm talking about. Do not continue to walk around powerless, because you are not. You're not powerless. We are not powerless. We have the power within. If you're a believer, you have got that power. You believe in that power and tap into it. Now, it's not a genie, okay? The power strip is not a magic genie and poof, everything's going to be okay. No, you need to plug into that power, and you need to exercise using that power in your life. Okay, that means you need to plug in every day for a fresh supply. Okay, and let me turn into another verse. It's 1 Corinthians 10:13. All right, so 1 Corinthians 10:13. Okay, there hath no temptation taken you, but such is common to man. That all that means is that there isn't anything that you and I are going through that isn't common, that isn't like, someone else is going through the same thing, right? Someone else has either gone through it before you, and it is not common. So don't think that you're alone. That's why we always say you are not alone. We are in this together. We've experienced it, all right? Someone has experienced it. It's not uncommon. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but with the temptation will make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Okay? This is the power that we have. It's not meant to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to tap into this power and I'm going to disappear, or it's that my problems are going to disappear. It's not a genie, but we have the power to rise above. We have it. We need to believe that we have it and go with that. Can you all still hear me or see me? I just got a message on my screen that says that there is that my data is moving faster, but everything looks like it's going well to me. Okay. So we need to, when you feel like you don't have the power to deal, I just can't deal with this. There's so much coming at me. I'm so overwhelmed. I can't deal with this. Yes, those are real feelings, and there is a lot coming at you. But if you can take a minute, and I'm sorry, I'm so excited. I get all like sweaty when I start getting in the Word, and I realize that that when I've been given like something to talk about, I get all excited about it, and then I start sweating. So, okay, Rachel, you can hear me to me. All right, so whatever is popped up on my screen through my, okay, I'm just going to ignore that. All right, so the same power that we read about in the Bible, or that we know about God and Jesus, and when Jesus walked this earth, okay, he was 100% man and 100% human, but he had the power, and he tapped into the power. He got on his knees and he prayed for the strength, especially when he knew what he was going to be facing, and he knew what was coming, and he got on his knees and he prayed to his power source. He tapped into his power source. He's the greatest example that we have as Christian women to plug into, and like, this is what Jesus did. I need to be doing it too. If Jesus did it, how much more do I need to do it to be constantly tapped in? Okay? If you and I are feeling that we are struggling, or that we just, things aren't, you know, I can't deal with this. I can't, I feel like I'm slipping, I'm sinking, and check your power source. Are you plugged in? Did you come unplugged? That reminds me, one time, one of the girls in our American Heritage Girls Troop was vacuuming up the floor, and she went a little bit too far, and the plug just popped right out of the socket in the wall. And I was like, "Oh, oops, you came unplugged. You went a little bit too far. We gotta plug in again." And so we just, you pick up and you find a power source, closer. And that's our life. We have, no matter where we go, we have that power source with us all the time. Sometimes you may go a little bit, when you're going on, you got to take that power cord with you and plug in somewhere else. You can't stay unplugged. You have to constantly replug in. So chances are, if I'm struggling, which I have been in this last month, it's just been like, man, I just can't get above. I just can't get my feet going. I needed to look, and what had happened is that I had unplugged myself from the power source. And so, Darlene, what does it mean to be plugged in? What being plugged in means that I am in my Bible every day, because that's how God talks to me. I need to be in prayer every day, because that's how I talk to God. That's our open communication. I can talk to him anytime, anywhere, anyhow, through any means. I don't have to have my eyes closed and be all la 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 la. It's not that. I mean, it's just as simple. I can be driving down the road and be praying, for a need that I have or that somebody else has, or taking my concerns to the Lord, because usually that's the quiet time that I have sometimes is in the car. There's a lot of distractions here at home and stuff, but finding that place, that is how I plug in. I get in my word and I read God's word, and this is how he shows me what he has for me and what I need to learn. This is how he speaks to me. And then God and I speak to each other through prayer. And then I get around other power sources like my pastor. I learned from him. That's another way. It's another tool, a power source that God has in my life to help me, stay plugged in. And then there are other people, other friends like Ingrid from the Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles, and Kim from the Homeschooling Grammy, who I'm doing this Rest and Grace series with. We have each other that we can tap into, because we help each other stay plugged in. We help each other stay plugged in. And I probably don't use those sources enough, those sources around me enough. I hope that I can be someone who can show you how to tap in, how to plug in, or just to remember to stay plugged in. If you don't stay plugged in, we are just going to be like going downhill super fast. And staying plugged in is going to help us stay fueled up. It's going to help us to be able to rise up above whatever we face, whatever challenges that we face. Stephanie, it feels like this feeling that's right there, but just out of hand's reach. It does feel impossible sometimes. It feels impossible. And just because, Stephanie, it feels impossible doesn't mean that it is impossible. Take a minute and tell yourself what the truth really is. Our enemy wants us to feel that there is no possible remedy, that there's no hope, and that you're just going to have to accept things the way they are. And no, that's not it at all. We can't base our life on our feelings. And so when I'm looking at something and I'm seeing that I just don't see the answer to this, that doesn't mean that there isn't an answer. There is an answer. There is hope. There is power that you can tap into. Okay? Just because we don't feel it doesn't mean it's not true. Did I say that right? Feelings, you know what? Truth doesn't care about our feelings. Truth does not care about our feelings. Life doesn't care about you. Life doesn't care about me. Right? But God does. God cares about me. And God wants me to succeed. And he has given me a power strip, a power source that I can take anywhere. my job. He supplied all the power that I need, all the power I need to have a sound mind and to have peace. I'm so sorry, my voice. But he has supplied everything. My job is to take my plug and plug in. I have to, but I don't all the time. And so I try to go around finding other power sources, and they fail me. They run dry. This power source will never run dry. God will never run dry. It's unlimited. It's exceeding. This is what that Bible verse talks about. Stephanie, you said you feel like you're in a blackout and you have no generator. Oh. Right. Rachel needs to get plugged back in. Yes, the constant roller coaster that you've been on. Yes, we are on a constant roller coaster. And you know what? We can get on level ground. We can get on level ground. And we can stand when, in fact, a recent Instagram post that I had a picture with an anchor drawn in the margin of my Bible, and we need to look at what we're anchored to. Are we anchored to something that is solid and fixed, or are we anchored to something that is going that blows away with the wind or the waves? We just did something in homeschool, our co-op last week. We talked about rocks, and again, I was like, what am I going to talk about rocks? I have kids that are high school age, and I'm like, what rocks? And but what we did is one of the moms had a collection of different kinds of rocks. She brought in some lava rock and then some other kind of geodes and some crystals, and we talked about all these different rocks. But then we also talked about like you need minerals to have rocks, right? But then we talked about sand, and then so I brought in the Bible lesson of the wise man built his house upon the rock, and the foolish man built his house upon the sand. And sand is always shifting. We hear about these terms, shifting sands, and the wind and the waves beat on the sand, and it changes the beach, changes the shoreline, and there's erosion and that kind of thing. But now with rock, there may be a little bit, but the foundation is secure. Our home is built on a basement, and that's what we were talking about with the kids. We need to find a foundation that we can stand on, that is going to stand the test of time and the wind and the waves, and we'll be able to stand strong. And we need to make sure that our foundation, our beliefs, and our life is built on something that is strong and sure and will not blow away with the breeze. Oh, hi, Painting the Roses Red is here with us today. Hey, I'm sorry, I know your channel name, but I don't remember your name. But I welcome you. Thank you for joining in today. And yes, that truth doesn't care about our feelings. Yes, truth doesn't care about life doesn't care about you. And truth doesn't care about your feelings. Truth is truth regardless. Okay? And life goes on whether you're feeling good or not. Life goes on. Life is like, I'm happening. Either you're going to get on for the ride or you're going to miss it. And I don't want to miss life. And I have unplugged. I did not realize that I did it. It could have been me, just going along like I was using the vacuum cleaner thing and example, and I was, I could be just going along, vacuuming, and I've got my earbuds in, and I'm like, listening to, music and just having, just like do 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 do, and I unplugged, and I didn't even know I came unplugged, right? And this is the sure thing. When you're feeling this way, and you're like, I just can't deal with these things, and you're feeling all those overwhelming feelings, and I always talk about when you get to this point in life, be sad. You need to stop and ask, and then discover. You need to stop all the things that you're going through and experiencing, you just to pull back and say, whoa, I'm feeling all these things of anger and bitterness or fear, depression, and all of these feelings. And I need to stop for a moment. And I'm like, you know what? I am feeling these things. So ask yourself what's going on. What is really going on? And then you're going to discover what is really going on. And for me, today I'm talking about being unplugged from my power source that's going to help me rise above. It's going to help me rise above whatever circumstance or trials that I have in life. I have another verse. It's 2 Corinthians 12:9. Now, I'm using my Bible, but you can look it up in yours. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said unto me, Jesus, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. And this is where we can rest, ladies. This verse, Jesus says, my grace is sufficient for thee. This is why we call our series Rest in Grace. Rest in this grace. God's grace is sufficient. And you know what? It's so funny because last night my girls and I sang in our evening church service, and we sang a song called My Grace is Sufficient for Thee. Even when my hope is gone, and hold on a second, I gotta start from the beginning. God's grace is sufficient for me. God's grace is sufficient for me. When I feel all hope is gone. Oh my gosh, I can't remember it now. I feel hope is gone and I can't. He's working out the plan in me, even when the way is dark and I can't see very far. He's the bright and shining light for me. I will worship and proclaim and give glory to his name, for his grace is sufficient for me. We had fun singing that song, but this is it right here. God's grace is sufficient. And we tap into it. We got to be tapped in, ladies. Okay, his grace is sufficient because his strength is made perfect in weakness. And we get to this point where we can't move on anymore. Like I said, it's just resting in this grace and letting God lift you up instead of us trying to lift ourselves up. And that goes so contrary to everything we believe. We believe we got to work hard, we got to do all this stuff, and I got to try harder, and I got to be, I got to pray harder and do all these things. While doing those things is not bad, it really is about letting go and letting God just fill everything, and he will lift you up. Oh, Becky, that's right. Becky, painting the roses red. Okay, so where was I going with this? I'm a voice teacher, and Fridays I have opened up my schedule to take people who are speakers, actors, and singers, and giving them vocal coaching. Give them voice coaching. So it's all, it could be singing, for acting. And of course, right now my voice is bleh. So anyway, I've told my singers that this instrument that we all have the same instrument. It was all created. We have a pharynx, we have a larynx, we have vocal cords, we have a trachea, we have a diaphragm, we have lungs. All of this all works together, and it was all created the same. But we get in our own way when we try to sing. A lot of times we will use our own power to try to manipulate our voice to do certain things. And while we are actually doing a lot, our body, we need to breathe, and we need to, support, and there's all kinds of things that happen that we are actually doing. I have to tell my singers, you have to actually let go of so much control and let the instrument do what it was designed to do. And that means you have to relax this. You have to relax your throat and your shoulders, and you have to relax this area down here, where us ladies do not like to do that. We like to keep this all engaged and keep a nice, keep our waist from going, right? And telling these young girls, or telling women to say, you have to let this go here so that it can expand and fill up the way it's supposed to. and they're like, oh, because then you let your belly out. But it has to be relaxed so it can do what it needs to do to be able to fill properly, to support. The instrument, all of this knows what to do. We breathe in, we breathe out, and we learn to talk. And as young babies, we make noises, and this is how we get our vocal cords working. But the instrument, we don't have to do anything with the instrument. It does what it needs to do. What vocal coaching does is to open your eyes to that, let the instrument do what it needs to do, and you get out of the way. And it's the same thing. It's a lesson for our lives. Our lives will work the way they need to when we get out of our own way. So if you want to rise up above the circumstances in your life, you actually kind of have to get out of your own way and let God show you. Plug into the power source and let God fill you up so that you can rise above your circumstances. It doesn't mean that your circumstances are necessarily going to go away, but what's going to change about your circumstance? Your perspective. And your perspective, and you've got a new focus, and that is going to help you stand strong in the storm because your eyes are fixed on God. Your eyes are fixed on the goal. Your eyes are fixed on the end. Is circumstance may not go away, but your perspective is going to change, so you will be able to go through it. Most of you are familiar with Psalm 23, and in that verse, or in that passage, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I walk through the valley. We don't stay there. We walk through the valley, and I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, and thou is God. God is with me. So I can go through these circumstances because I have God at my side, and he's going to see me through. Doesn't mean that he's going to make it go away. He's going to help me go through it, and I will rise above it. Okay, and that is the victory that we can celebrate, is rising above. Not that the circumstance may not go away. Sometimes it will, because we have risen above and we've moved on, or we've gone on. But there are just some things that just don't go away. There are things that happen to us in our life that happened in the past. But when we rise above and we move on, it's in the past, and we let the Lord deal with that, or deal with the people that are in the past. Okay, or here in our present, we can let the Lord deal with them, because you know what? I have risen above this. And you know what? I am strong. You are strong, ladies. We are strong, and we are strong because we have a strong power source. But a lot of times we have to admit that I'm not doing this, it's God. I have to let him do it, because this, whatever it is I'm facing, is way more. I can't deal with this. I have to give this person over to the Lord. I have to give that circumstance over to the Lord, because he's the one that can bear it. I can't. We can't, ladies. We have way too much other things to do. We have children to raise, and we have homes to take care of, and we have our mental and physical and spiritual lives to deal with, and we can't, this other stuff, I just don't have time to deal with that. Right? And I'm going to have to let God deal with that and let God sort it out. And then God can show me what I need to do about that situation. All right. There is hope. Step back, ask yourself what's really going on, and discover what you're plugged into. Are you plugged into the power source, or are you plugged into some other thing that's just going to it's just going to fade? So, what do you think, ladies? If you're all still with me, leave a comment. Leave a comment. What do you think? Do you have a verse that speaks to you about the power, about God's power, about rising above? What I want you guys to realize is that we already have this power. We do. We already have it. Let me see some of these other verses that I wrote down. Yes, feelings are up and down. They're fleeting. They are not steady, but God is steady, and that's the ground that we need to be standing on. I wrote down another verse, Isaiah 26:3. Whoops, I went too far. Isaiah 26:3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Let me put myself in there. Thou, meaning God will keep me. So God will keep Darlene in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on God, because Darlene trusts in God. Okay, I substituted the pronouns there. Yes, Stephanie, tapping into the power is the hard part. And I think it all boils down to belief. For me, I don't fully believe sometimes that tapping into the power source is going to work. And it's not because I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the power necessarily. I put so much belief in that, in the earthly situation, in the person I might be dealing with, or the circumstance that I'm facing. Be like, yeah, God. So what I found is that I'm really telling God, yeah, God, you know what? You just don't know this person. They're never going to change. You just don't know this circumstance. There is just no, this isn't going to work out because this, and this. And what I'm doing is I'm telling God that he doesn't know. He doesn't know his own creation, or that he's not seeing the whole picture. Or God, you just don't know. I know and he doesn't. And boy, did that put me in my place because I was like, wait a minute. I'm actually telling God, like, oh, you don't know. Let me tell you how this works. No. That was me. It may not be you, but I have found that that's usually what I'm doing is I'm telling God how this is going to be. And I just love to see God's face as I'm talking to him and telling him, no, God, you just don't understand this person. And he's just be like, okay. Okay, so Stephanie says, all right, I think the hardest part is it's hitting my husband too. We are both struggling to find our way to be motivated and moving forward and making things happen. Oh, that finding that motivation, holy cow. Finding that motivation is hard. Things need to be done. You have to face something. You have to confront something, or, this thing needs to be done and I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. Because that means that we have to either face the truth about something, or we have to, no, that's just usually what it is. Now look, I'm not like the grand all poobah and I know everything. But it really is, I think, just we have to face the truth about something. So that could be maybe facing the truth about a financial situation, maybe facing the truth about the condition of a relationship, maybe facing the truth about your own self and like, you know what, I really am blah, 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 or I really just don't believe this. And then you're like, facing that truth. But once you go down deep and under the surface and you find out where that issue is and you just lay it out on the table, it's like, oh, well, there it is. Now I can deal with it. And rather than trying to keep it hidden. And now that's what's worked for me. And that's also where I've discovered where my problems lie. A lot of times it's like, I kind of know this needs to be done, but it's just put over here because I have all these other things I need to deal with. I have homeschool and I have kids that need to do this, and I have my oldest daughter is graduating, and how are we going to work all this stuff out about going to give her the graduation experience, from homeschooling. We don't have graduations like public schools do. So we're actually going to a statewide graduation that our Homeschool Educators of Association of Virginia, they put on in Richmond. So we go down there so that she can graduate and like have that experience and have that, you know, that transition into the next phase of life. But anyway, I digress. Sorry. I'll try to stay on point here. But all of these things we're facing, our family dynamic is changing, you know, and it's just like, oh my goodness, how are we going to face all of this? But a lot of times it's just like, I don't want to face it. So then I'm like, I just don't feel motivated to do it, because I look at that and think, oh, that's going to take so much energy, and that's going to take so much of this and so much of this. And you know what? You're right. I can't do it. And like the verse I just read about God's strength is made perfect in weakness, what that means is just that perfect in the Bible, that term perfect means complete. And it means it's exactly what is needed for where I fall short. And so that's where we say, okay, it's time to tap into that power source, and we're going to start dealing with this, because God's going to deal with it. You know what? I can't deal with all of this, but God can sort it out, and God's going to give me what I need to know, what I need to deal with the situation at hand. Okay, Stephanie, all we need is a spark. There was a little song we used to sing around the campfire when I was in youth group growing up, at the church we were going to. And I just remember the part that says, it only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around will warm up to its glowing. Something like that. That's how it is with God's love. Once you experience it, da 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 da. You want to carry on. So, I don't know. I don't forgot the rest of the words are, but I just remember the very first part of the song. It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and that's all you need. You just need that spark. And if you have that spark, or if you have some of those little coals laying around in your fire, stir them up. Stir them up. What do you do with the spark when you get that spark going in your fire? You know, you blow on it. You blow on in the fireplace to get it to flame up again. That's all we need. We need just that little grain of mustard seed to make a big plant, and that's all. It talks about our faith in the Bible as being as the size, you know, grains of mustard seed are super small. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all it takes. And I say, go with it, Stephanie. Go with it. Go with the spark and blow on that sucker. And go to town. Let it flame up. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that it's going to go into this, you know, like, embrace it. And that's me. That's me, like, whoo, me being all excited, because it's exciting to know that we have this power already. You know, I'm going to go back to Dorothy. She had the power the whole time, but yet she went on through the whole entire movie doing all these other things. Just think of how much faster we could get home, or get the, you know, get done what needs to be done, if we would just realize that we have the power. We have it. And I encourage you, take that little bit of courage, that little bit of spark that you have, and plug into the power source. All right, ladies, and whoever else has joined in, if you are able to, while you're watching the replay, or even like right now, go ahead and click that like button, the like button. That actually helps. And I also encourage you to, when you're done watching this video, go into the description box and find the playlist link. And there are Ingrid's video and Kim's video, the Homeschooling Grammy, and Mommy Mia Homeschool Chronicles. And you're going to find their videos there, but you'll also find all the videos we've been doing since January. We do this the first Monday of the month. And you'll find all of our videos on different topics, like We Are More Than Conquerors. And that's the only one that's coming to my mind. I'm sorry, Ingrid and Kim, can't remember the other ones right off our bat. But you'll also see those other videos that we've done. We just taking this and resting in God's grace. God's grace really is perfect, and it's sufficient, and it's everything that we need. So if I can encourage you with a thought this week, this month, tap into the power. Stephanie gives me a thumbs up. That's awesome. That's awesome. Leave some comments below. Do you have a Bible verse or a saying or some quote that you have that reminds you that to tap into the power that you can rise above your circumstances? We don't have to live a defeated life. We were never created for that. We were created to live victoriously. And we have the victory, we have the power already. Okay, it's just taking us a moment to realize it. So I encourage you to do that. Leave comments, join the conversation, go visit the other channels. And if you are interested in being part of Rest and Grace series, then I encourage you to leave us a message that you would like to be a part. And one of us, Ingrid, Kim, or I, will get with you and will help you tell you how you can upload a video to the playlist, and we'll get you included in that as well. I want to tell you, so much that I appreciate you all today for tuning in and giving me your time today. And I appreciate the 300 subscribers that I hit. Yay! I'm so excited. And be looking for, I have an update video, channel update, life update that's going to be coming out. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live. I might go live and do that. I hope to do that in the next day or two. Just updating everyone where I've been at with the Countdown to These Days series, and some of the other things that we have going on in life and where I've been, what's going on with all of that. So thank you so much. I love you all. And until the next time, shine on.